자, 이런 트랜지션을 잘 지켜야만 리듬 있는 골퍼가 될 수가 있습니다. 그렇지 않으면 너무 급하게 되고 어깨로 치는 골퍼가 되는데 오늘 이 시간에 저와 함께 여러분의 스윙의 시범 모델이 될 두 분을 모셨는데요.
안녕하세요. 트랜지션 프로입니다.
안녕하세요. 전영인입니다.
네. 네, 그리고 우리 애니카, 네, 인사하세요. Hi, 애니카.
Hi, how are you?
My second question here. It is very hard for amateur to do the right backswing, right? Would you show us how you do your backswing and how does your transition work?
Yes. Well, it's a very good question. You know, I play with a lot of amateurs, and I see when the club get very long, they swing so much faster. They think, driver, I'm going to hit a long way. So what they do is they grip the club very hard. They take a backswing very fast. And what happens when they take it very fast, the whole body's not working together. Actually, a lot of times it's just hands and arms. So I always tell people that when you have a driver in your hand, almost feel like you're swinging with a wedge where everything is working together. It's so important in driving to really use your legs. So let me show you my backswing. Again, I want to make sure that I really use my whole body and wind it up. And if you think about it, think as a rubber band. If you twist and twist and twist, and then when you let it go, it goes very quickly.
Yes.
That's really what a backswing is for. It's to wind up and really be able to generate the energy to the top, and from there just accelerate and get the energy out. So when I take it back, I'm using my whole body. Got a wide stance, so I have a very solid foundation. I take the club back and you can see I'm really turning and using all parts of my body, and I get it up to here. It's very important to have some width. And what I mean is you want to have some space between your arms and your shoulders. If I was just swinging with my arms, you would see something like this. There's no width, there's no rotation in my shoulders, and there's certainly no rotation in my lower body. So when I play with amateurs, what I tell them to do is feel like the clubs are going straight back to the target, and then rotate your shoulder and almost feel like your shoulder is under your chin. When the shoulder is there, then I would say you're ready to come down. But how do you come down properly? Well, when you're up here, you really want to start with your lower body. You want to start with your legs, and then come with your hips, and then shoulders, and the last part that comes is the hands and the club. So it's really the opposite. You start with the club, hands, shoulders, the legs are last, and from up here,
Transition.
it's the legs first.
Oh, leg first.
And the more you can drive with the legs, you're going to get this angle between, you know, the hand and the arm, and you keep it longer and longer, and then you come down here, and this is when you just let the club release, and that's when you get most of the power. So let me show you.
Yes. Good shot.
Thank you.
Good, beautiful shot.
Okay.
Yes.
Wanna
이번에
try?
전영희 선수 나가가지고요. 이번에는 우리가 주제가 뭐냐면 백스윙 가는 과정, 지금 설명을 충분히 들으셨죠? 처음에 클럽이 먼저 가고 그 다음에 몸이 돌아가는 이런 과정을 거치게 되고요. 다운스윙 때 움직이는 몸의 동작을 트랜지션이라 그러는데 바로 이 무릎 위쪽, 그 다음에 엉덩이, 그 다음에 어깨가 돌아가는 관찰을 한번 직접 봐주시겠습니다.
Nice.
굿샷. 한 번 더, one more ball. 예.
Make sure that your ball position is inside your left foot.
예. 볼의 위치 왼발 안쪽에 한번 놔주시고요. 발 모았다가 한번 정식으로 한번 해보세요. 네.
But I really like how you're working the whole body. You know, even though when you're not so tall, you really want to make sure you use everything that you have, and you do that very well.
지금 네. 다운스윙 몸이 움직이는 게 아주 좋답니다. 네.
Where's the ball position?
볼의 위치 한번 보세요.
So there.
네, 예.
Okay, hands up a little bit.
예.
There.
네. Much better.
Very
More
good.
ball direction accuracy. 자, 우리 프로 나오세요. 네.
Good job. Okay.
자, 네.
One thing I would say there, when you take the club and you take it a little bit too much inside and that way. Feel like when you take the club back straight, and then you can come straight into the ball. Because it seems like to me you always start a little right. It's a draw is good to have, but sometimes you want to make sure you can hit that straight shot.
Push hook, right? Yeah.
Better.
Much better, yes.
Good shot. If you want to hit it further, a draw, makes the ball go a little further. As we all know, a draw is starting a little to the right and then go to the left. If you can control it, then I think it's very good. It's just sometimes you want to be able to hit a straight, a straight ball. But to hit a little draw, what you can do, you take the club a little bit inside and then you swing through. That works. What I try to do to get a draw through hook is I will adjust my stance. Normally my stance is what I say square. Everything is pointing to the to the target, the feet, the hips and the shoulders. But if I want to do a little draw, I will close my stance, which means my feet are pointing a little bit more to the right, which makes my path a little bit more inside out.
네, 드로우하고 페이드는 아마 직접 다시 한번 알아보고요. 네, 됐습니다. 그러면 애니카, yes. Do you usually use the cooking? What is the definition of cooking when you're doing backswing?
Oh, with my hands.
Yes.
Yeah, the cocking of the wrist. I think it's very, very important because this is where you get the leverage. If I would take the club back, I'm going to demonstrate here. It happens, pretty much naturally when I take it back. I start square, and when I come here, this is when the club goes up. And because I have to do that, it's because it happens naturally. Because if I would continue, you see how my wrist is totally strong that way. So to me, it's just when I come here about 90 degrees, I start to turn it up. And when you get to the top, you really want to make sure you have 90 degrees here. This is a way to generate some power. If you were having the club pointing here, it would be very hard to come down to the ball and to release the club because there's nothing to release. So a good way to check a good swing is to get to the top and say, it's 90 degrees. From there, I just keep the angle all the way down to impact, and that's when I release the wrist that I bended earlier, and then I swing through.
When you're doing backswing, right, many people, I watch the people, amateur golfer, when you do backswing, the interval, some golfer just to change it to narrow position. That's no good, right?
What do you mean?
Yes, backswing, when you're backswing here, low body just moving too much, hip too much turn.
Well, you want to make sure that you turn your hips, but you don't want to turn too much, because if you turn too much, remember, you have to get back to where you started. And if you can't get back to where you started, then obviously it's very hard to hit the ball straight. And I think that's the key to hitting it, with good direction, is that I would say the hip is about half of your shoulder turn. And then you come down there, you start with your hips, and they're open at impact, and then the shoulders come down.
자, 그러면 지금 한번 나오세요. 다시 나오셔가지고 한번 해보시는데, 지금 한번 코킹을 한번 생각하면서 한번 스윙을 한번 다시 한번 해보세요. 네. 자, 코킹 지금 배운 거 한번 해보세요. 지금 치지 마시고. 네. 어떻게 코킹이에요? 네. That's the call.
She starts very early.
Early, yes.
Because if you start too early, you're not going to get the shoulder turn. So start with the club, going back there, and then
cork.
happens.
예. 자, 백스윙 초기 동작을 약간 좀 느리게. 예, 예.
And then of course you want to do in a sequence, but you will learn that because what happens is you start here and then your shoulders. Really feel like this is all coming together.
네. 지금 우리가 이제 코킹 많은 아마추어 골퍼들이요, 이렇게 코킹을 많은 동작에서 멈췄다가 하는데 한 번에 그냥 연속 동작으로 이렇게 해달라는 얘기예요. 네, 한번 해보세요. 그런 느낌으로 한번 쳐보세요. 네. 볼의 위치, 손 올리는 거 어디랬을 때. 네.
What about ball position?
볼의 위치. 네.
It looks too much forward.
너무 볼이 너무 왼쪽에 있대요. 그러니까 조금 더, 예. 네.
Okay. Because what happens if you start turning your wrist too early, the club face opens, and it opens all the way up here, and then they come down.
일단, 예. 지금같이 볼이 푸시 슬라이스가 나는 거는 백스윙 동작 때 손목을 돌리면 안 되고 함께 가는 거죠. 다시 한번 해보세요. 네. 많은 아마추어 골퍼들이요, 백스윙 초기 동작에서 지금 애니카 소렌스가 지적한 대로 이렇게 손목을 돌리게 되면 클럽 페이스가 열리게 되죠. 임팩트 순간에 다시 열리는 문제가 생기니까 지금 전영희 선수한테 지적한 동작이 손목 돌리지 말고 같이 가주세요라는 것을 지금 한번 이야기했습니다. 괜찮아요. 네, 다시 한 번만. 네. 한번 화이팅. 네.
It's okay.
네.
I think another reason to keep that in mind is when you start, it's what I call one-piece takeaway.
one piece,
Everything
yes.
comes together. If you just start with your wrist, it's very easy to continue with your arms rather than get the full rotation.
볼의 위치. 네. much better. Nice shot.
Nice drive. Very good.
최인준 프로도 똑같은 동작을 한번 해보시는데, 그렇죠? 코킹하고 한번 리듬 지키시면서. 이렇게 백스윙 중간 과정에서 코킹을 이용하게 되면 헤드 스피드가 늘어나게 됩니다. 그래서 헤드 스피드가 늘어나면 우리가 직접적으로 볼의 거리에 영향을 미치니까 한번 동작을 한번 슬로우 모션으로 보여주시고.
Is it the time that I should start now?
Yeah, when you take it back and you feel like you can't extend it anymore, that's when you have to bend it.
예, 바깥으로 빼지 마시고. 예.
It needs to be a natural. When you start going up, that's when you turn. Good shot.
굿샷. 어떻습니까? 저희가 이번 시간에 주제로 했던 것은요, 백스윙에서 탑 동작 가능 동작을 먼저 했습니다. 이 중에서 우리가 빠져서는 안 되는 동작이 코킹에 관한 거고요. 그 다음에 탑 동작에서 진행하는 몸의 움직임을 트랜지션이라 그러는데, 이렇게 움직임 동작이 좋아야 리듬 있게 볼을 칠 수가 있는데요. 애니카가 이야기하는 것은 바로 무릎, 그 다음에 엉덩이, 그 다음에 어깨, 팔의 순서였습니다.